you're sober. Welcome back, beautiful and amazing human beings. This is Orgadowski of WeAreChange.org here outside a technocratic Trojan horse at the Tel Aviv University in Israel, outside of the Blockchain Summit with no other than Jeff Berwick, the Dollar Vigilante, who was just inside debating regulations and taxations. And can you guess, good old Jeff Berwick, whose keywords are F the system, F taxes, F regulations, F everything that has to do with top-down power. Guess which side was he on? He was obviously on the deregulation, calling for more freedom. But one of the things that I definitely wanted to talk to Jeff about is the Trojan horse that is the economic system, especially in the United States. You were talking about a lot of amazing statistics and facts. A lot of economic experts are saying there's going to be some kind of correction, there's going to be some kind of recession, there's going to be some kind of bear market coming in 2019. You've been talking about it for a while, but even the statistics with the U.S. national debt, they're terrifying when you really look at it. What are you seeing from your point of view?
Well, it's not that terrifying. There's no need to have fear. A lot of people, when you talk about crashes or those sort of things, people get really scared, and that's not what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to help people to realize they need to take control of their own assets, get out of banks, get out of the stock market, get out of bonds. This is a 40-year bond bull market that is just starting to collapse now. People will lose a lot, but you don't have to, that's what I want to say. It's not about fear. It's about just taking control of your own assets. And actually, for the first time ever in human history, you really can, aside from gold and silver, which you could in the past. But now we have cryptocurrencies. You can really you can be your own bank for the first time. And most people still, to this day, have not realized that. And if they do, it's actually very empowering. You've been into cryptos for a few years. You know what it's like when you get that ding, and you actually know that that money is not controlled by anyone. And no one can take it away from you unless they put a gun to your head. And that's what actually governments do. But really, you actually, for the first time, can control your own finances.
Yeah, just like Obama said, it's like a Swiss bank account in everyone's single pockets, and it's amazing, and it's incredible. It gives a lot of freedom. There's a lot of things to also worry about. I mean, we are seeing a correction. A lot of people are saying that the kind of Bitcoin bubble has popped as well. And I agree with your assessment. I mean, most of the things I always say is, don't panic, don't fear, be smart about things. What I've always been saying throughout the years, because we've been seeing this talk, and it's kind of tiring, like, it's going to crash tomorrow, it's going to crash tomorrow. Earlier parts in my career, I've been kind of guilty of that, and you have to admit and own up to your faults. But the reality of it is, looking at the statistics, looking at just the raw numbers, it has to happen. You were talking about the Shemitah, the Jubilee, the 7-year cycles, and you made videos that had millions of views, and it didn't happen. But also, the bigger thing that needs to be understood here behind this bigger kind of Jubilee thing, this bigger Shemitah thing is, did it happen because you were telling too many people, your videos got millions of views, and the system didn't want people profiting and making money off short sells? Is it just a prolongment because obviously this next storm that's coming economically is going to be a major one? Is it because they just want to hold it off inevitably? How do you make that kind of analysis after that call?
You said a lot there, but yeah, these things are planned out. The central banks, the financial system is completely controlled. Not completely, but very controlled. And the people behind it really want the most people to get hurt as possible. So it is possible that a couple years ago, when I was talking about the Shemitah and the Jubilee, and some other people were as well, that enough people were finding out about it that they might have held off on it. That is possible. I don't know. I don't know what their plans are. However, there is going to have to be some repercussions for 10 years now of money printing, massive amounts of money printing. That's unheard of in the history of the world in terms of, especially the U.S. government, the Federal Reserve. The U.S. government debt has now almost tripled since 2008. That's 10 years, it's almost tripled. There's going to be some repercussions for this. But as you just pointed out, actually I did the same thing. I was very fear-based. If you looked at my videos 3, 4, 5 years ago, it's very ominous, very, you better watch out, we're going to all go down with the system. But really, you can actually take control of your own finances now. And And there's actually nothing to fear when it comes to this. And you know this, and I've known you for a while. You live with very little money most of the time. You still have a great life, all that kind of thing. It's not all about money. And it really isn't. It's really about yourself and taking care of yourself and consciousness. However, having assets and ability to do things like fly around the world as you do is very nice, of course. And so to take care of yourself is good. But it's not really about fear-based. It's actually realizing we have the potential now, for the first time, digitally in the digital age, to actually take control of our own finances. And if people realize that and they stop using US dollars, or here in Israel shekels, or whatever currency, fiat currency you have around the world, we actually can change the world through just using currency, which actually the word currency comes from energy, which actually is a transmittance of energy from people. And actually, like your work is actually a storage of that energy, and it's used in currency. But if we get that currency away from the people who control it right now and actually take control ourselves, we can have a beautiful world.
And it's all how we think about it. And if we just worry and panic all the time, we're going to make irrational, stupid moves that are going to hurt us down the line. That's why I always said it's always rational. At least 15% of your revenue, move it into alternatives, whether it's gold, silver, Bitcoin, cryptocurrencies, altcoins. It's worth investing in. But the best thing you could also invest in, now other people are going to be telling you alcohol, tobacco, and ammo as far as other investments. But to me, the biggest investment, again, more fear, the biggest investment that you could ever make is, of course, in your relationships with your family, with your neighbors, because that's really what's going to help you out the most, especially if times do become economically unstable. But humanity always finds a way. They found a way during the Great Depression, and it's going to be, a particular, very interesting situation unfolding. But I think humanity is better shaped than ever to address these situations and make them better. And it all depends on where we're coming from. And it's coming from that higher kind of understanding that's really going to change the day and really not only make the future better for you, but also make the current existence that you have now. And you've been all hippified. The only thing you do really have is now, the moment, which is really important. Now, you've been also, making a lot of good calls, especially with cryptocurrencies, especially when Bitcoin was low. You were telling people to buy. When Bitcoin was high, you were telling people to sell through your newsletter. I know me and Josh Sigerson of World Alternative Media, we're also doing similar things. We've been calling certain things that have been happening. How are you seeing this market? Because some people are saying we already kind of hit the bottom, we already seen the low. Some people are saying that it's best just to stick with the big players, the Bitcoin, the Litecoins, the Ethereums, and to be more worrisome with people who don't have good services, who don't have good white papers, who don't have good products, who don't have good developers. And I think this kind of cleansing that has been happening all around 2018, I think overall it's a positive. And moving forward, it may still happen for the next year.
Yeah, no, we needed this correction. When it was 20,000, I said it's time to take profits, and it was obvious because it went from 1,000 to 20,000 in 1 year. That's a little extreme. And now that we're down around 4,000, we actually just said, just starting a few weeks ago, it's time to start buying. So if you're out there and you don't own any cryptocurrencies, and this is what I was saying earlier, once you have it and you actually understand it, and you understand you actually control your own currency, it's an amazing thing. So if you haven't gotten into it yet and you think it's all over, it's not over. We're still in the beginning. But if you haven't gotten into it yet, this is a great time to get into it.
Yeah. And if you want to know more about Jeff's newsletter, the link will be in the description below. If you want to find out what me and Josh are doing, the link will also be there. But we're also coming up on Acapulco, one of my favorite conferences. I'm not lying. I'm not trying to kiss this man's ass here. But ultimately, legitimately, I love Mexico. I love Acapulco. And this year, Ron Paul's coming down. David Icke is coming down. Judge Napolitano is coming down. So many people who overall just have the same overall message of freedom and love are going to be down there. How's it being planned? How's it being organized? What are people expecting? I'm hearing about pool areas being only I hear a lot of crazy stuff here, Jeff. What's going on? Let's finish this off.
Yeah, I have to say we're going to have a strip club, and actually we got a lot of negative feedback, so we're not going to do the strip club, just so everyone knows. We might still have a nude pool. Basically what we want is that people just live as free as possible for a week. And you've been there, you've been every in Acapulco, and actually thank you very much for introducing us to David Icke. Big fan of David Icke. But really it's just about just living free and just showing people there's different ways. And we don't just talk about just freedom, we talk about cryptocurrencies, we also talk about health and wellness, we have yoga, meditation, all that kind of hippie stuff, which you also introduced me to, thank you very much. All kinds of stuff. So yeah, if you haven't been and you want to go, check it out. No, I've never heard a bad word about it. I don't know about you, but I've never heard anyone say, "Oh, I didn't like going to Acapulco." It's something special, in my opinion.
Yep, and you want tickets? I'm doing a course down there too. Definitely also check out the description below. Jeff, thank you so much for randomly just saying, hey, I'm going to Israel to this conference. You want to come by? I was like, yeah, sure. So we're here in Tel Aviv. It's going to be interesting because we're going to be doing a whole lot of other reporting. So.
And we're not Zionists because we're in Israel.
Yes.
That's going to be in the comments.
Yeah. And Mossad, definitely. But we're going to be doing a lot of on-the-ground reporting, which is fueled by you, not only through your donations, but also your tips and your information through all the social media that you guys follow us on. So thank you again for allowing us to be here and to continue this amazing work, which wouldn't be possible without you. Love you guys. Stay tuned for more.